gentlemen. In this video, I'm going to talk about your first task that you had to hand in. As you might have noticed, we're starting with a new topic, namely science and technology, or as it is called in your book, Science and Utopia. Your tasks were the following. Here we are, introduction and spot on facts, and you had to hand in only page 140, number 1. Nevertheless, we're going to talk about these tasks here as well because, well, it's nice to know some facts about science and technology in general. Let's have a look at the pages in your books. Here we are. There you had to do a little quiz about milestones in science and technology. And I will just give you the results. What recent inventions shape your life today most? Maybe the internet, maybe electronic gadgets like smartphones, social media, I'm very sure that you use them, ebooks, emails, and so on. The quiz might have been a little bit more difficult, but I'm sure you know all the basics about science and technology. So number 1 is C, number 2 is D, number 3 is A, number 4 E, and 5 B. Let's have a look at scientists. Number 1 is B, number 2 E, 3 A, 4 G, 5 F, 6 C, 7 D. And devices. Number 1 is E, number 2 is A, number 3 is B, number 4 is C, 5 F, and 6 D. Okay, so now you can just compare your results to mine and check how many questions or how many things you did correctly. Your next task was on the next page. Let's have a look. Well, you should have read this introductory text, and you should also learn the vocabulary, which I also put into your folder on Moodle, and I also send it to you via email. Your task was number 1. Choose one of the following options. You should have written an introductory statement on the following question: is modern day technology a blessing or a curse? Or you could have done number 2, a podcast for teens deals with the question above, write the introduction for that podcast. I will just show 2 examples to you, written by students. Let's start with this conference title. Well, I will just very briefly explain to you why I think this is a really good example, because we have an introduction here in the first couple of lines. The speaker directly talks to us by using the pronoun we. Here is even a parallelism: we live, we live. The speaker uses, or the writer uses, very nice linking words like even though. Here we have either or. We can even find a quotation by Matt Haig. The quotation is correctly indicated even with the correct page. Here we have the question of the essay or the statement. The own opinion is stated as well. Then we have pro and con arguments, once again linking words to show us if it is a pro or a con argument. And in the end, we have a conclusion. So this is well done and a very nice example. This is a good example of page 140, number 2, describe and interpret the cartoon about the drone on the same page. In the cartoon, a drone can be recognized, which reports something about itself. For one thing, it says, I'm a drone. In the future, I will be able to fly packages to you, bring pizza to your party. And on the other, and if need be, blow your village to kingdom come. So be careful when you place your order. Very nice. Then we have, in my opinion, the drone wants to say that in the future, technology will be so advanced that a single drone can deliver packages and on command blow up an entire village. This also shows how dangerous technology can be. On the one hand, there are advantages, for example that pizza can be delivered easily, but there are also disadvantages, for example that modern technology like drones can hurt many people. And one day the drones can act on their own without a human being controlling them, which makes it all the more dangerous. Very nice, thank you for this The same student provides us with a very nice and interesting and informative table about the different text types: utopia, dystopia, science fiction and fantasy. We have definitions of the 4 different types. We learn what they focus on, and we even get examples. I will upload this example for you on my website so that you have a nice overview for the future. Last but not least, you will watch a video which I found on YouTube, which I consider a good compilation of different dystopian and utopian films. So enjoy and stay healthy. Bye!
Over the past decade, dystopian movies have been making a resurgence with teen-centric films like The Hunger Games, Divergent, and The Maze Runner. However, the concept of a dystopia is far from new. It has literary origins going back to the 18th century. The term dystopia was first introduced as an antonym for utopia, which refers to an imagined place where everything about human life is perfect. A dystopia is exactly the opposite of this. A society where the systems put in place contribute to a worse quality of life for its inhabitants, instead of a better one. As a genre, dystopian films are inherently speculative, and more often than not, science fiction. They are typically set in the future and depict a brutal societal order that, while not totally plausible in the present, is close enough to our own reality that it feels familiar and therefore uncomfortable. These films often feature totalitarian or authoritarian governments, environmental and social degradation, dehumanization, and the loss of individual freedom. Epic technological advances are often shown as tools for surveillance, subjugation, and pacification. In these films, power structures are set up to be feared rather than trusted. Humans live in societies of control because often the conventional family unit is dead. Education is limited, propaganda is rampant, and resources are scarce. The rights of everyday citizens are eroded, as is their political agency. The price paid for disobedience is often so harsh that most resign themselves to following the letter of the law. But this brutal environment is consistently a motivator for the protagonists of dystopian films. The bleak, authoritarian conditions give the defiant hero something to fight for as well as against. If he or she is not simply trying to survive and escape, then they are trying to dismantle the repressive power structure, working to break the system and free its prisoners. Beyond the common narrative themes seen in dystopian movies, there are also repeated visual elements throughout the genre. Dystopian worlds are typically visualized in one of 2 ways. They can be hyper-sanitized and immaculate, like in THX 1138 and Gattaca, where the rigidity of the social order is echoed in the art direction. These environments are excessively sterile and minimalistic. Decorations, colors, and forms of creative expression are almost never seen. Instead, the aesthetic is clean, crisp, monochromatic, and stiflingly sleek. Or they can be shown as dark, grimy, and chaotic, like the urban jungles of Blade Runner and Dark City. This future is overpopulated and dirty, unpredictable, and dangerous. So why do we love dystopian movies so much? Maybe it's morbid fascination at the potential for our world to change in so many terrible ways. Or maybe it's relief that things aren't quite so bad for us just yet. More likely, it's a mixture of the two.